That's the only exit. What are you going to do next?
Wake up, Artyom, wake up!
Great, he's coming to. Put the light away, you're blinding him.
Wake up, Artyom, wake up! Artyom! Artyom! Wake up, Artyom, wake up!
I don't know whether I was right or wrong. I guess I'll never know. But I made it. And I guess I should be thankful for that.
Before going on, I'd like to address potential ad hominem attacks and genetic fallacies. The truth value of statements and evidence is a secular from the messenger. If a person who you think have poor character or lack credentials were to say that if I drop this ball in my hand, it would fall to the grass beneath me due to gravity, it wouldn't make my statements any less true. This is basic logic. This is a secular from the video series, purely descriptive message, and a secular from the series, scientific legitimacy. But I would like to include a personal message here in the end. I think there's a current danger for the white race, that their hardwired implicit racial attitudes and their implanted implicitly manifested cultural ideas are creating a dangerous cognitive dissonance. The danger is that they do not explicitly embrace their hardwired implicit attitudes like other groups do, that they are disorganized, much to their groups and individuals' dismay, expense, or downfall. They don't explicitly think racially and assume others are like them. I think that
because they can't imagine that for themselves, they also can't imagine that others behave that way. But this is a failure of imagination.
And it is very dangerous. You have already been used, and most people know that you're all weaker because you are divided and disorganized.
The white man's world, we feel, is coming to a close.
Important organizations will go on to become lawyers and teachers and doctors and members of the U.S. Senate to replace those old white men.
الإسلامي الأستاذ عمرو خالد المشهد الإسلامي في أوروبا. هو أهم كلمة إن عدد المسلمين في أوروبا الآن من 25 ل 30 مليون. هذا الرقم له دلالات كبيرة ومعاني كبيرة. من 25 ل 30 مليون مسلم في أوروبا. تمام. المسلمين هم اللي بيخلفوا أوروبا ما بتخلفش. بما يعني إن خلال 20 سنة هيكون المسلمية غالبية ممكن تكون لها تأثير غير عادي في التحكم في القرار. الحل إيه؟ الحل ان احنا لازم نكون صحيين جدا وايجابيين جدا. مطلوب ايه؟ مطلوب ان المسلمين في اوروبا 30 مليون يتغلغلوا ويعرفوا المجتمع الاوروبي والغربي قد ايه المسلمين محترمين وناجحين. دول كلمتين السر. انا محترم وناجح. لو ال 30 مليون نجحوا ان يتجنبوا الاستفزاز ويحولوا طاقة الغضب من اجل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ومن اجل اساءة الاسلام لان هم يتحولوا لاجهزه اعلام متحركه، ان كل واحد فيهم يقول انا سفير الاسلام ويتحرك في وسط اوروبا مع جيرانهم، في الشركات اللي بيشتغلوا فيها، في مواقعهم، في الانديه الرياضيه، في كل مكان فيه الشعوب الاوروبيه يستطيع ان يتفاعلوا معاهم ويندمجوا معاهم، ويوروهم اخلاق متميزه ويوروهم نجاح متميز. هتبوظ الخطه وهيستمر المسلمين في اوروبا. احنا محتاجين 10 سنين اللي جايه دي يا استاذ احمد قوي للمسلمين في أوروبا إن هم يكونوا موجودين قوي قوي قوي.
علامات أخرى تدل على أن الإسلام سيظهر الله في أوروبا بدون سيف، بدون بندقية، بدون فتح. 50 مليون مسلم في أوروبا بعد عشرات السنين سيحول أوروبا إلى قارة مسلمة.
من الضروري أن يكون الفتح بالسيف. يعني قد نفتح هذه البلاد بدون جيوش، نريد جيوش من الدعاء والمعارف.
You think we have kids because we like sex? No, we're having kids ready to start this war, believe me. I got another one on the way, and she'll be strapped up ready for you. Come get it. Come get it. Come knock on my door and see what happens.
The white man's world, we feel, is coming to a close.
European man is basically on his way out anyway.
The time is at hand for the white man to pay for the crimes of your forefathers.
Are you saying that arrogantly, as a white man, that we should not be angry?
You don't just know. What do we want? When do we want it? All right. We're not going to stop. If you're
this country whose parents and whose adults have misspent its treasure. And while they have enjoyed that treasure, ultimately their children will have to pay the taxes or will have to pay the price.
And the Orientals are going to be much more vicious than the Europeans. They don't have a liberal philosophy that you can use against them and a constitution that you can throw at them. They don't have that liberal image that they try to protect like the white folk that you used to tie them up with.
You have been laying down your axes for decades and received nothing but guilt, taunts, threats, complaints, theft, and now you're on the brink of extinction by stronger groups. You expected reciprocity, loyalty in return for your humbleness, but you have not been getting it, and I don't think you will. The dangers by fighting racism is that you are unarming and weakening yourself for stronger opponents. Even if I wouldn't want to explicitly see race as an issue, there's far more than enough people who would not share my perspective and on the contrary see me as an unfairly privileged white man. The circle is made. Those who try to secularize themselves from this rule are running a greater risk of being forced to be pushed aside purely socioeconomically by new, more self-aware groups taking away their assets. Likewise, when diversity breeds tensions like a pressure cooker and the temperature is rising and old scars and tensions burst up to the surface and get themselves manifested in race riots or worse, racial civil wars, who will have your back and where will you run the lowest risk of injury? Not behind unpredictable enemy lines. I'd also like to point out that racial voluntary separation is inevitable if you allow for freedom of association, which includes freedom of disassociation. Racial separation in the physical sense of where individuals will have their home property is vastly different from racial isolation in regards to the market of ideas. Racial voluntary physical separation has nothing to do with the marketplace of ideas. For example, the modern Japanese who discriminate the Ainu or want Ganis out.
The essential point here is that the Japanese are a homogeneous society and they do have a purity hang. They do believe, and for the United States point of view, you might find this offensive, but they do believe that their strength is in their racial purity. Let's be quite frank about that. So under those circumstances, foreigners are always, on that definition, either a menace or an oddity.
They are certainly not falling behind. While a country such as Brazil see its slums grow bigger and bigger. With this said, I wish for the white race that they would become more healthy and vital again, that they would embrace their implicit attitudes and become more brave and honest.